I recently shared an article from People magazine based on an interview that I had done with him where I revealed that I've had Tourette's as long as I can remember, since I was 6 years old is when I was first diagnosed back in Louisiana. I even remember the doctor, Dr. Tom Jones from Opelousas, Louisiana. Tourette's has really been as much a part of my life as anything, but it's really been something that I haven't talked a lot about, mainly because my parents didn't allow me to use it as a crutch or an excuse in any way. And I felt that telling people often brought up awkward questions or weird interactions with other people, so I mainly kept it to myself. But I wanted to talk to you today to really give you the backstory of how that interview came about. Before People called, my university called. I went to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette in South Louisiana. And the college newspaper is known as La Louisiane. And a writer from the newspaper called and asked if they could do a profile. It just so happened that this year I had gotten the Outstanding Alumni Award, and I was also asked to give the commencement address. And so the newspaper, the magazine, just wanted to do a story in conjunction with all that. So I said, sure. So the author called and he started asking me some questions, and we finished the interview and we were pretty much done. And at the end of it he said, you know, I'd like to call a couple of your mentors to get some quotes from them. And I said, sure. So I gave him their numbers. And a few days later he called back and he said, you know, your mentor, Maria Placer, who hired you at KLFY TV in Lafayette, mentioned that she thought that a lot of your success could be in part to your perseverance and determination despite having Tourette's. And he kind of paused for a minute and he said, I don't want to bring this up if it makes you uncomfortable to talk about. And I said, no, I'm not uncomfortable. I said, in fact, let's talk about it. And I asked him this, I said, can you promise me that if we do this interview and we make it about Tourette's, don't sugarcoat it, but don't dramatize it. In other words, it was debilitating as a child, but as an adult, it has not stopped me from one thing. And the writer said, yeah, no problem. And so we did the interview. And really the magazine from my college was the first to publish it. And then other interviews have since followed. But I want to give you the backstory because you guys know I love behind the scenes, telling you sort of my thought process, where I start and where I come from. But this is a personal story. And this was not a headline that I was looking for. What I wanted with this was I wanted to either motivate, inspire, or give a voice to. My hope is that people who will read this article, if they are dealing with Tourette's, and by the way, I got to tell you, I've had coworkers reach out to me and say that they've had it since they were children. Parents have reached out to me. Patients have. Doctors have. The Tourette's Association of America has. My intention with talking is to give a voice to the people who are dealing with it, because more often than not, it's not so much just to educate people who don't know, it's to make the people who have it feel comfortable talking about it. So this story is for them, the patients and the parents. Let's create a conversation. But I want you to know that when it comes to my case, it hasn't stopped me from one thing. It has been the fuel that has motivated my journey and my dream, really. I often forget that I have Tourette's. So often when I'm in front of a camera, you can't even tell. There are no tics. But I tic all the time. I have tics with my mouth, tics with my eyes, tics with my neck. It happens. It's a part of my life, but I've learned to live with it. And if you've got Tourette's, I want you to know that the best success is possible. The biggest dreams are attainable. I feel like I'm proof of that. I'm certainly not at the top of my ladder, but I'm climbing that ladder with every bit of passion I have, driven by Tourette's. In fact, a coworker said to me, she goes, I kind of feel like my Tourette's is actually that which has made me creative. And I said, I feel the same way. So that's the backstory. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the love and support. And if you meet someone with Tourette's, you'll be better for knowing they have it, because knowing creates a conversation, and conversations are what lead to tolerance and acceptance.